Welcome, everyone. This is week 5 in a 5-week series of readings from St. Paul's first letter to the Corinthians. So we often hear a continuous reading from either the Old Testament or the New Testament. This is week 5 of 5 weeks. We're going to hear a longer reading. I think it's 7 or 8 weeks from the second letter to the Corinthians. The longest continuous reading that we hear over a 3-year period in the lectionary is from St. Paul's letter to the Romans. It's because it's a very, very long letter and is most important. So, a little background to these continual readings from one book in the Bible. So this is Paul addressing the Corinthians. Brothers and sisters, whether you eat or drink, or whatever you do everything for the glory of God. Avoid giving offense, whether to the Jews or to the Greeks, or the church of God. Just as I try to please everyone in every way, not seeking my own benefit, but that of the many, that they may be saved. Be imitators of me as I am of Christ. Okay, so this is an example where some background helps to explain the reading. In Paul's day, before the Greeks or the Romans killed an animal in a butcher shop, they said a little prayer to one of the gods. So a butcher knew that there was something sacred in a living being, and kind of like in a pious way, would almost dedicate the animal to a god before he butchered the animal and cut it up and sold it for meat. Well, this created a real problem for the early Christians, because they wondered whether they should eat meats that have been dedicated to idols, to gods that really don't exist. So the Jewish people were very offended by eating meat that had been sacrificed or dedicated to false gods. The Gentiles, not so much. They didn't even believe in these false gods, so they said, false gods don't exist, so we're free to eat it. This is what Paul is addressing. The conflict that has surfaced in the church. So this is Paul's recommendation. He says, whatever you eat, whatever you drink, whatever you do it for the glory of God. That's the important thing. Do it for the glory of God. Paul says, avoid giving offense, avoid offending, avoid upsetting all people. Avoid upsetting the Jewish Christians who don't think you should eat meat, and then avoid offending the Gentile Christians who don't have a problem eating meat that's been bought in the market and dedicated to gods that don't even exist. So now, what Paul does is Paul tries to read the audience. If he's around Jewish Christians, he doesn't eat the meat. When he's around Gentile Christians, he eats what they serve him. Okay? So that's Paul's recommendation. So avoid offending anybody. The Jews, the Gentiles, and the church. Okay? Do everything to please God. And then finally he ends with this great quote. You should imitate me. Okay? Now that shows you a little bit about Paul's self-confidence and good self-esteem. He says, you should imitate me. Do what I do. And remember that I'm only trying to imitate Christ. And Paul would very easily say, and I'm nowhere near what our Lord and Master was like. And so, I think there's some good practical wisdom there that Paul tells us. Read your audience. Read your audience. Listen, if you're around, let's say Republicans who are really staunch Republicans, and you know that you're going to say things that offend them, then maybe you shouldn't say them. If you're around Democrats, real staunch Democrats, and you know that you're going to say things that are going to offend them, then don't say it. read your audience. Avoid offending people or giving offense to people or needlessly upsetting people. Paul says, put the needs of other people before your own. That's basically what he does. And the reason he does that is because that's what Jesus did. Jesus always put the needs of others before himself. So let's imitate Paul. Let's imitate Jesus Christ by doing this as well. Just one more reminder. For Lent, we're going to be doing a faith formation program called Connections. This is the workbook that we're going to be using for Connections. And we're going to be meeting on the Tuesdays of Lent here in Upper McShane. And this is an invitation for everybody to come. It's just not for people who have made retreats here at Malvern. So it's for men, it's for women, it's for couples, it's for people who may not even be Catholic, but you want to invite them to be part of this program. So we'll be meeting on the Tuesdays of Lent from 7 to 8:30 here in Upper McShane. And so I would encourage you to go to the website. We made a video called What is Connections? So go to you're at the YouTube channel now, so check out the video called What is Connections. If you'd like more information, or if you know that you're going to be attending, it would be helpful if you called my assistant, Joanne Bouvier, and just let her know. And her number and extension is at the end of the video. Okay, thanks everyone, and God bless.